Good afternoon. You're listening to Whoop FM 99.9 News at Noon. This is Daniel Brantley. More than 400 people turned out Saturday morning for a job fair aiming to fill 60 jobs at Whirlpool in Cleveland. The oven maker will start production later this year at a $120 million plant that will replace its existing facility here. The job fair was the first phase of eventually adding 130 new employees to its 1,500-person workforce. Bradley County's unemployment rate for December dipped to its lowest mark in 3 years at 7.2% on the strength of temporary hiring in retail trade and a surprisingly strong surge in construction. The last time jobless numbers sagged this low came in December 2008, when the Great Recession was gathering steam. The mark then was 7.1%. The local rate compares favorably to the statewide rate of 8.7% and national mark of 8.5%. At 7.2%, Bradley County is now in a four-way tie with Cannon, Loudoun, and Hamilton counties, with the 11th lowest unemployment rates in Tennessee. Good afternoon. You're listening to Whoop FM 99.9 News at Noon. This is Daniel Brantley. You can find us online at whoopfm.com. The Cleveland Blue Raiders, after fighting their way through Blackman, Ravenwood, and Science Hill, earned the right to face Soddy Daisy for the 2012 TSSAA State Duals Wrestling Championship Saturday in Franklin. For the sixth straight year, two Region 4 AAA teams have met in the State Duals final. Unfortunately, the Blue Raiders were unable to defeat the Trojans, and they lost 29-22. Despite this, Cleveland coach Eric Phillips said in 21 years he has never been prouder of a team. My guys left everything they had on the mat. The Cleveland Middle School 8th grade Lady Raiders defeated Cherokee Middle Lady Jackets 28-18 for the area Region 4 basketball championship, winning the title for the second year in a row. Emily Spann led Cleveland with 8 rebounds and 3 steals, 5 assists, and 2 points. The Cleveland State Lady Cougars handed the Motlow State Lady Bucks a 67-61 loss over the weekend. The male Cougars, unfortunately, stayed close to the Bucks in the men's contest, but couldn't get a break down the stretch and dropped a tough 60-52 decision. Also over the weekend, the Lady Cougars fell to Volunteer State Friday night, 60-51, while the Cougars took care of the Pioneers Friday by notching out an 87-82 win. The Lady Vols of the University of Tennessee used their pressure to beat Auburn 82-61 Sunday. The Tennessee victory, coupled with a 61-51 loss by number 6 Kentucky at LSU on Sunday, keeps the Lady Vols 1.5 games behind the SEC leading Wildcats. Tennessee's win over Georgia on Saturday was, quote, golden. Trey Golden came off the bench to pick up a lethargic Tennessee offense with 16 points and led the Volunteers past Georgia 73-62. Golden got his team-high 16 points on 5 of 8 shooting, helping Tennessee's bench outscore Georgia's 34-16. New York Giants beat the Patriots 21-17. The game was rigged. Thank you.
This is Eli Manning for Whoop News. Police arrest Harrison Bay man who was armed and threatened to kill everyone. Oh my. A SWAT team on Saturday afternoon took into custody a Harrison Bay man who police say was armed and threatened to kill everyone on his block. The Hamilton County Sheriff's Office was called to Bayshore Drive around 11:30 a.m. for a mental health well-being check on William Scott Merritt, 49 years old. Deputies spoke with family members before making contact with Merritt and found that he threatened to kill them last night while holding a weapon, authorities said. They also told law enforcement that he had a large number of rifles and semi-automatic weapons. Sounds like fun. Police saturation nets 70 arrests, including 10 gang members. On Saturday, a police effort aimed at curbing a rash of recent robberies netted 70 arrests, including 10 gang members and 1 Barbie doll. 8 individuals with federal indictments were arrested, including 3 listed as validated gang members. Drum roll, please. Oh, here is some sad news, folks. I hate to share this with you, but the truth has to come out. Cornelius Smith, African-American man, has been arrested in connection with an incident in November in which police said he stole all of his former girlfriend's undergarments as well as her TV and DVD player. The guy who lives on Mountain Creek Road is charged with aggravated burglary and vandalism. Melanie Vincent said she came home from a friend's house and found Smith inside her residence on Zenna Street. He started running toward her and began running in the opposite direction, yelling strange sounds. In related news, police said a man was killed Saturday at a residence in Alton Park when Raphael Colon became upset about his being affectionate towards his 14-year-old daughter. Colvin, 43, is charged with criminal homicide in the death of 37-year-old Anthony Scott. Police said Colvin, who was smiling in his mugshot, and his daughter were in the kitchen fixing something to eat when Scott came in from work around midnight. Police could not confirm that the meal Colvin and his daughter were fixing was brains and cow eyeballs. In other news, supergiant crustacean has been found in the deepest ocean. A huge crustacean has been found lurking 7 kilometers down in the waters off the coast of New Zealand. Oh my gosh. The creature, called a supergiant, is a type of amphipod which are normally around 2 to 3 centimeters long. But these beasts, discovered in a Kermadec trench, were more than 10 times bigger. The largest found measured at 34 centimeters. Alan Jameson from the University of Aberdeen's Ocean Lab said, "It's a bit like finding a foot-long cockroach." I repeat, a foot-long cockroach. In case you didn't hear that, a foot-long cockroach. The creatures are small but extremely active and seem to thrive in this place where the pressure is 1,000 times greater than at sea level. These deep sea spots were once thought to be barren, too dark, cold, and without too much pressure for anything to survive. But researchers have found a wealth of life in the deepest of the deep. All right, everybody, wake up and pay attention. There is a search on for an escaped Silverdale inmate. Local law enforcement is searching for a convicted thief who escaped from Silverdale Correctional Facility on Sunday morning. Police believe he escaped in order to watch the Super Bowl. Silverdale officials reported that Darius Brown, 29 years old, escaped at about 6:30 in the morning after being processed for an off-site work detail at the Standifer Place nursing home laundry room. Upon his escape, Brown removed his orange work uniform. Silverdale officials said he was last seen wearing a white t-shirt, white head covering, and what looked like khaki pants, along with Hawaiian-themed flip-flops. Brown is 6 feet 1 inches tall, African-American, and weighs 160 pounds. He was serving an 11-month, 29-day sentence for 2 theft charges, 4 counts of contempt of court, and 2 counts of failure to appear. His mother says he is innocent. All right, that's it today. This is Eli Manning for Whoop News.
Can you turn the typewriter sound down? Yep. All right. Good afternoon. You're listening to Whoop FM 99.9. This is Daniel Brantley, News at Noon. A device which reads the thoughts of brain-damaged patients could become a reality after scientists proved they could tell what someone was hearing just by decoding their brain waves. Researchers demonstrated that the brain breaks down words into complex patterns of electrical activity, which can be decoded and translated back into an approximate version of the original sound. Any such device is a long way off because researchers would have to make the technology much more accurate and find a way to apply it to sounds which the patient merely thinks of rather than hears. Some patients, however, may prefer to keep their thoughts to themselves. 4 people were injured over the weekend at a Brooklyn rave when the floor of an outdoor smoking area collapsed. The party, featuring the very famous local artist DJ Fruit Loop, at the Slave Theater on Fulton Street in Bedford Stuyvesant ended at 10:30 p.m. after the victims fell 10 feet into a cellar. Zach Giambalio of Long Island said this: "I went out for a cigarette and the whole bottom fell out. The cement started falling on us. People were freaking out. All victims suffered minor injuries." A Brooklyn woman said that the biggest mistake of her life led to her being raped at the Plaza Hotel by a Canadian businessman. The 28-year-old former bartender sobbed on the witness stand in Manhattan as she recalled accepting Mustafa Oyna's invitation to join him for breakfast in his suite at the Central Park South landmark. Owens, an engineer whose clients include the Saudi royal family, allegedly forced himself on the woman and her best friend after carousing with them at 2 Manhattan bars in January 2010. In graphic detail, the victim described waking up, quote, in a total fog, with Owens on top of her after she and her friend passed out in bed. "I still had no feeling in my legs," she said. "They were like jello." The 60-year-old married man had approached her and her friend at a West Village lounge, the woman testified, offering to buy them drinks. The businessman's defense lawyers have portrayed the two friends as hard-drinking gold diggers who were out for an easy score. After waking up, the victim shattered a glass and faced off with Owens before hotel security arrived. "I wanted to kill him," she said. "I was hysterical. I wanted to go home." In other New York news and papers filed in the Manhattan Supreme Court, a former Syracuse University ball boy says at least 2 coaches' wives regularly took ball players to the bedroom. Lori Fine and another coach's wife used to speak openly about their relationships with 2 of the players and what they liked to do in bed, former ball boy Mark Davis said in an affidavit. Davis, who's accusing Fine's husband, assistant coach Bernie Fine, of molesting him back in the 1990s, said he often drove the 2 wives to a student housing complex. During the car ride, the 2 women spoke explicitly about their sexual exploits. In particular, both women would talk about how good the 2 players were at various sexual acts and what specific acts each of the men liked, the suit says. The filing says players used to joke openly about it as a known fact that Lori Fine gave good oral sex and was great in bed, and that anyone could, quote, do the coach's wife. A Florida teen was arrested and charged over the weekend in connection with the murder and mutilation of 19 kitty cats in Palmetto Bay and Cutler Bay. Tyler Weinman, 18, faces 19 counts of animal cruelty, 19 counts of improper disposal of animal remains, and 4 counts of burglary. Weinman is being held on $249,500 bail. The attacks began more than a month ago, and cat owners have been urged recently to keep their pets confined indoors or use fencing to keep the cats in their yards. Residents were also asked to be vigilant for any suspicious activity in the neighborhood. Weinman was taken into custody Saturday night while he attended a party. Whoop FM took to the streets to ask a local cat lady what she thought about the issue.
It's just really scary and sad to think that someone would do something like that. And I've got lots of cats, and if anyone would take one of these precious creatures and attempt to hurt it, they're my babies. I do not know what I would want to do. And I hope that Tyler Weinman stays in jail for a long time. And I hope he never hurts a kitty cat again because they're so sweet. I don't know what I do.
Police have revealed that in the last 10 years they have had just 1 call about UFOs in Lexington. On June 8, 2008, that's my birthday, a member of the public called the force to report that he had seen around 10 red dots in the sky over the town. The caller said the dots looked, quote, like they were on fire, and asked if the police had had any other calls about them. Another call to the same division reported seeing a triangular UFO with white lights at the corners above Asta and Spondon. The caller said it made off toward Alveston. There is no report of whether the UFO made it to Alveston, as the entire town has now gone missing. You're listening to Whoop FM 99.9 News at Noon. This has been Daniel Brantley, your host.